I believe like we were born for something. Like I don't know. To be honest, I believe in God, and like we need to do some contribution to the world, and we need to use those gifts we have, those instruments we have, and find the best way how to do this. And personally, for me, it's easier to do something. I feel like I feel energy when I do something. I believe which is meaningful.
That's not a small mission. Sorry to interrupt, but you went from sort of studying rocket science, which is
Mhm.
awesome in and of itself, to thinking about multi-generational kind of impact. Is that right?
Yeah, and I have interest both in like applied researchers and build startups and supporting startups like starting from machine learning and basic software solving real world problems all the way down to like to fundamental research. Sometimes I read about like how you can travel to other planets, how you can find like new principles of physics, because like quantum mechanics and relativity theory, string theory, that's okay, but it's not the end of the story. There is something onto that, and we really will need this to develop economy in the future. But that's probably I can't see it over my lifetime, but still I would like to do some contribution here as well. But like I
Well,
do it in steps.
and I love this because we started with the words corporate innovation, and all the audience is like, well, I've heard that before, and we went straight to some pretty big picture ideas. So let me ask you this, but we're going to get to a little bit about what you do in your day to day.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk a little bit about your inspiration. Like, you want let me back up. We often, when we're talking about innovation, we're talking about small things, incremental things. And those can be really important, right? A 10% optimization in the supply chain, a 4% shift in fuel efficiency, whatever it might be. Those can be really important and they add up to something big. Why do you start with in something that looks like an end state? What is it that makes you start with something so big that you don't really know how to achieve it, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. You know what? First of all, I believe this is how I was born, because I have always been curious, and I was raised, especially when I got my education, to solve things which you don't see that like obvious way to solve. So I was learning like quantum mechanics and some other mind blowing stuff, very like very theoretical, and it taught me not to to be bold enough to solve to work on the problems which you don't see the solution right now. And the other thing is because I believe like we were born for something. Like I don't know. To be honest, I believe in God, and like we need to do some contribution to the world, and we need to use those gifts we have, those instruments we have, and find the best way how to do this. And personally, for me, it's easier to do something. I feel like I feel energy when I do something. I believe which is meaningful. And for example, to be honest, I hate reading legal documents. Like this is just an example. But
Amen.
once, yeah, we have perfect people in the team who are very good at this. I can do that as well, but I hate reading legal documents. But once I spent like 8 hours reading legal documents for a space tech startup. This, and this is because I really want those goal to build this business, because I see the impact it could do the humanity, and they are building a specific constellation for tracking carbon capturing, etc. Like it's a really big mission which will impact every one of us. So if I see that something is really important, I can do other things which I don't like, for example, and I
It's
try to do this more in my life.
Well, I think that's actually a really important point, right? And it's a wonderful sort of view into what inspires you and what can inspire a lot of people, right? Like you find your source of passion and energy, and then you figure out how to accomplish what you want to do. Let me ask you a question. Let's bring this a little more down to earth, though, right? So,
Hmm.
you know, you see the potential, as I do, by the way. I will nerd out all day on the possibility with modern technology, what it enables us to do, right? So you see that potential, but making it real is hard. Innovation is incredibly hard, right? You have to get people to change behavior. You have to actually identify a problem that people want solved and get it done. So how do you connect your goals over the long term to your day-to-day work as
Hmm.
an investor, as an ecosystem advisor? What do you do, and how do you keep an eye on the long term?
So of course, in your day-to-day job, you don't often you don't always do what you like. Sometimes you need. Sometimes startups you look into are not that inspiring. Sometimes they do. But first of all, what I want to understand typically is like why this specific person is doing this startup. Like, because, for example, I can, like, for me, something could be not that interesting, but it could be really driving the person who is building it. Like, because, for example, his dad was a farmer and he's building a software for farmers because he understands that there is a big problem. And the other thing is, I, and this is actually matches with those transforming, boring, and unsexy industries which we invest at I2BF. Because, as I said, I wanted to bring technologies and to see them in real life for real life applications. And yes, there are many ACAD people who could build very sophisticated machine learning, and we need those people. But what we also need is that those solutions could be applied like for legacy industries, like
Yep.
construction, manufacturing, logistics, like funeral agencies, right? Because we over the next decades, a couple of decades, we will need significantly improve the productivity of the businesses, and also improve their energy efficiency, their carbon footprint, etc. So we need to solve a lot of problems, and sometimes it could sound unsexy, like to go to the like construction site, or to go to the oil refinery and to build some tech for them. But this is really what we need as a humanity. This is what really what you need if, like, we want our kids, for example, live in a beautiful place. So yeah, so if something sounds a little bit boring, I try to go look into the person who is building this, and try to look into some impact it could, sometimes even incremental impact it could have for the industry.